Welcome back, and joining me now is Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. Senator Kelly, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you for having me on, Kristen.
Thank you so much for being here in person. We really appreciate it. I do want to get your reaction to President Trump's strikes that he launched overnight. Do you trust the administration's assessment that all 3 nuclear sites have been, quote, totally obliterated?
Well, let me just start by saying, what I think should have happened here, right up front is him coming to Congress and asking for authorization to do this. That's the constitutional approach to this. He could have talked to us about what the goal is and what the plan is ahead of time, and we could have had a discussion about it. He says these sites were obliterated. If you listen to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane, clearly we've got to do bomb damage assessment. It's hard to figure out even when you're destroying a building. In this case, the buildings are actually underground, buried 200 feet, dirt, rock, concrete. It's a really hard problem. And it's not clear to me, and it's probably not going to be for some time, whether we actually took out their capability.
Let me ask you, because Vice President J.D. Vance, about your argument that the president should have come to Congress, argued that it wasn't necessary. He said the president has the authority to act to prevent the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. What's your reaction to Vice President Vance, who said he absolutely had the right to act?
Well, I would say when there's a clear and imminent threat to U.S. citizens, to the United States, to the homeland, the commander-in-chief has a right to act. That wasn't the case here. And I think certainly for the 40,000 troops in at least 6 countries in the Middle East, we have a lot of bases in the Middle East, those troops are now at greater risk. I think folks here at home as well are at greater risk. We could see terrorist attacks here. The Iranians still have a lot of proxies. They could go after us. The escalatory factor of this action that was taken yesterday is significant.
You are on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Let me ask you, do you have confidence in U.S. intelligence, which assessed back in March that Iran was not on the brink of developing a nuclear weapon?
Kristen, I look at this intelligence every single day, from the CIA, the NSA, the Defense Intelligence Agency. They do a really good job. The intelligence picture often changes. And we've been looking at this I've been on the Intelligence Committee for about 1.5 years, but on armed services my entire time in the United States Senate. And it's a changing picture. But what I will say is, as far as we know, the Iranians were not in the process of developing a weapon. They were enriching uranium. The Vice President's right, and Lindsay too, up to the 60%. You needed way above 90% to actually have weapons grade. But it was more than what they would need for power generation. So they were in the process. They were doing something we did not want them to do, but they were still, working within the international community here. It was clear what they had. My big fear right now is that they take this entire program underground. We don't know, not physically underground, but under the radar. And we don't know what they're going to do here in the future. They might try to race to the development of a nuclear weapon. Where we tried to stop it, there's a possibility that this could accelerate it.
Well, and let me ask you this question then, because of course you heard President Trump's remarks overnight urging Iran to get back to the negotiating table. Iran says it's poised for a counterattack. Do you think that there is any hope for diplomacy at this point, or is that dead?
No, I think there's always hope, that we could get back to the negotiating table. That's what we should have done. We should have exhausted all options. We could have spent another month at this. There was no clear, present, immediate danger to us and our troops, and even to Israel with regards to the nuclear capability. And the Israelis were doing an incredible job conventionally, going after targets, going after the missile defense system, the medium-range ballistic missiles that they have. They were very, very effective. We could have let them do that for some time. We could have tried to restart these negotiations in weeks or even a month. It did not have to be, had to be done like this right now.
You are a veteran. You're no stranger to the theater of combat. What is your message to the some 40,000 U.S. troops who are stationed in the Middle East, who are right now on heightened alert as Iran warns about a potential counterattack?
Well, I find it interesting that the person without combat experience is often the first person to want to drop a bomb. And that's what we see here. And what we did last night puts those troops, 40,000 of them, at further risk. But we are going to do everything we can to protect them. And we've got a very capable military. We're going to do our best to defend our interests.
All right. Senator Mark Kelly, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Great to see you, as always.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.